But what we will end up with is something we can use to put an impression on a wax plate. Now, in the old days, 400 years ago, when Mr. Gutenberg was introducing printing to the Western world, he hand-carved type out of hardwood. Oops.
It's got to be an awfully long movie.
Oh, there's the top and bottom. Now turn her over and do the sides. Yes, an awfully long movie. It could be true.
Awfully long movie about an awfully long book.
We've got a fire. Linseed oil. Just do half first up, see how we go. Well, as long as we don't burn to death, I imagine we'll have a success. So while we're waiting for that to heat up, I'll show you the printing plate that we were going on about last time. Well, it came out looking like Chinese, so I thought, why not go all the way? Stuff it, I'll do it in Chinese. So I came up with just an opening page, which scratched into the wax with this pin. Made up some 5-glass resin. There's the resin, there's the catalyst. Mix it up, pour it onto the sheet of wax, and when it dries, you have one printing plate. You can see Chinese at the top, English underneath. What it says is, learn the rules so you know how to break them properly. Learn the rules. You're gonna love it. Oh yeah, that's hot. It's the first time I've done it. Oh, here we go. But one of the things you can make explosives from is your own poo. I think that's got it. Everything's nice and black. And just wait for it to cool. Perhaps we'll chuck a steak on at the same time. Have something to eat.
That char-grilled steak.
Char-grilled steak, char-grilled onion. So it's just something to play around with whilst we perfect the technique of making our own plates. The products my father printed became less valuable after you bought them, not more valuable. Now, like a Picasso, it's possible for the things you buy to become more valuable, but only if they're made by hand. It's starting to feel smoother. Onto the roller. Hopefully the printing plate has been sanded smooth enough. Stick the plate on top. But let's hope this has done the job. Oh yes. Rough as guts, but certainly recognisable. Learn the rules so you know how to break them properly. I've only got to have success another 130 times and we've got a book. We've got an old photocopier buried in the filing cabinet with a sheet of wet and dry on top. Get our plate and just very, very gently up and rub and rub. Here we go, one ink plate and roller. Well, we know the ink sets. My first girlfriend used to work at Levi's, back when they employed Australians. She was lovely. Anyway, now she's got 8 children, all speak English and Chinese evidently. So hello Heather, if you're watching. So I wonder how they feel in China when a white woman comes along from Australia, works in China for years, has 8 children, and the government doesn't grab a single one of them to be compulsorily murdered. The important thing is to understand the nature of jurisdiction, you know? Hey! Turn it around the right way. There you go, one shipwrecked sailor. Right, barley. If we look it up in the encyclopedia, they'll say barley has what they call a beard. And just strip it off like that, into the bag. More barley. It only takes a few minutes of this. Admittedly it's manual labour, but got to remember, boys, it's free beer. This is what we're really talking about. 5 weeks ago I picked some barley in the paddock, which looks like this, right? There's your picked barley, and then I spread it out on the floor of our little malt house. They turned the tent into a malt house, so every day you spread it out, right? So I got up in the morning 4 days ago and little roots had started to appear on our lovely barley. So here's our extraordinary cooking pot. Let's scoop some in. Get the ants out of the malt house. It's drying out nicely. It's nice and warm, and once you've got malt barley, mate, it is piss o'clock. They teach each other the song, you know. If they don't get it right, they just stick at it. It's all they do. Same bloody song over and over and over. It's like a band rehearsal. We knock on somebody's door and they're a wrinkly old fart, right? And we sell them a book of short stories for $4. Well, they buy it. But we've suckered them, you see, when they open it up and they start reading comics as well. Well, they're going to start feeling young again, aren't they? Admiral Lieutenant Governor Sir Henry Morgan. He suckered the Spanish by setting fire to their ships one day and sank almost the entire Spanish fleet. Well, less than an hour later, he did it to them a second time. You can sucker them with the same trick over and over and over and over, and their ships are burning and everything's going, and they still don't get it.
Got ya.
It is a bee though. I mean, if you saw that, what would you say? Would you say that's a bee?
Looks like a fancy bee to me.
Well, that's good. So trial and error, constantly trial and error. Chinese chaps drop some nuclear bombs on us or something, well, won't worry the black fellas. Won't worry them at all.
Darn these flies.
Yes, flies, the great Australian tradition. But there's food in flies, lizards eat them, you catch the lizards or you catch the things that catch the lizards and you'll never run out of food. Because once you have a feed, you're going to have a poo, and once you have a poo, you breed flies, and then the lizards come and eat the flies and you start all over again. An H, we now require an H.
I like a tin.
The bloke who gave me this tin of sardines for free is actually a distant relative of Lieutenant Governor Admiral Sir Henry Morgan. The chap in question is a very descendant of such a man. Of course, Sir Henry never had children himself. His dear wife Elizabeth refused to conceive. Am I standing on the brewery right now?
Yes.
Oh yeah! Beauty or what, eh?
That's bubbling away.
That's beer-o-matic, mates. They flogged the living shit out of me, mate. I got cuts and bruises all over, right? They done me good. So you got 6 blokes caving your head in with big pieces of wood for about an hour and a half, and you're trying to reason with them. And it's not that they're constantly on you for the hour and a half. It's just that we're having a very busy argument where they can cave my head in, but I can't hurt them because they're underage. I ended up putting 1 foot over the fence line, and he stands back and goes, "Got you off, mate." And he's right. He is bloody right. The Australian government made it, started pretending we didn't have squatters' rights at about the same time as Aboriginal people became citizens of Australia, right? Well, why the hell is that? Hello, hello. The tent is open. Someone's been in my tent. Check this out. Here's a note from the survey crew. I have put the pegs back which you removed. Oh, lovely. Please leave all pegs where they are. It takes a lot of time to put them out. I don't care that you are camping here, but if you remove the pegs, I will need to have you moved on. Thanks. Well, I didn't remove their survey pegs, mate. I wouldn't do that. So here we have our next little bit of evolution of the law. The authorities make an assumption that I've removed their pegs, and the fight has officially commenced. Here's the marker that I put a legal notice on last week. As we say, they're dead keen to serve pieces of paper on me by trespassing. But do you think those guys have come anywhere near this piece of paper? Oh no. The guys who make threats on paper that work for the government, they don't want to touch this piece of paper. They can see through the plastic what it says and they don't want to touch it. Now, during the last week, I said to all the local boys that come through, all the lads, you know, I said, look, don't steal their bloody markers and we might pull ahead, you know, we'll pull ahead. I said, they'll screw up, and if we don't screw up, then they're the only screw-ups. An officer of Australian military intelligence broke into the Royal Museum in Nepal, and he stole a Field Marshal's epaulettes, right? And they were last seen wrapped up in a beach towel in a hotel room in Goodwood. So, if Her Majesty's military intelligence wants to reclaim the Field Marshal's epaulettes for the Queen from Australian military intelligence, they should find out which hotel in Goodwood, it was the Goodwood Hotel, I believe, the epaulettes were hidden in, and send a little man in from MI6 and get them back.
This is Sammy the filmmaker.
Sammy the slave.
The Berlin Wall, baby, halfway through the kitchen. The boy half, the girl half.
The boy doesn't have to go in the kitchen.
You get the lounge room and the TV.
Lounge room.
Watch out, Sammy.
Might be a bit of an issue. Have you guys ever heard of a guy called Nikola Tesla?
No idea.
Well, that's one of the unfortunate things of reality today.
Who's he?
If we knew about Nikola Tesla, we would know that we could all have free energy. That doesn't...
He's the guy that invented the electricity system that we use today. He invented every power station in the world, most of the light globes in the world, every generator, every electric motor.
And we know nothing
and a
about
whole
him.
bunch of things. And they pretty much wrote his name out of the history books and stole 17 of his patents.
Yeah.
And he died a poor man, but he was at one stage the richest person on earth.
A lot of controversy surrounding that guy.
Yep.
And at schools, they don't even know his name. So do you think the world actually is warming up?
Yeah.
Yeah. And why do you think it's warming up?
Because all the gases and crap are making the ozone layer thinner and making it a bigger hole, and so there's more sunlight coming in
Not getting out.
and not as much getting out.
That's what the pools are for. Cool down so it's not that hot.
Yeah, but then if we keep going like this, the world's not going to last much longer, is it?